Hey everybody. So, growing up as a kid in rural Alaska, I didn't exactly have a lot to do. The vast majority of my time, when not in school, was spent either reading, playing games on my Wii, watching the same movies several times in a row, or hanging out with friends. That's not to say that I was bored, it's just that I was always on the lookout for something else to do. And my pursuit in this vein was ultimately quite unsuccessful. That was until the day I discovered the internet. I was instantly hooked. Why do all of these things in various places when I could have access to all of them in one place with the use of my computer? Now, obviously it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. However, it was still an incredible source for entertainment and an outlet for creativity. I can still vaguely remember the first video I ever saw on YouTube. It was The Big Bouncy Inflatable Green Ball by Nigahiga, if I remember correctly. Something entirely new to me was the concept of internet memes, ideas and messages told through reference and pop culture. I was lucky enough to be online during what many consider to be the golden age of internet memes, around 2009 to 2013. However, there was always one meme, dating from far before this time, that seemed to have lingered on through the years to a much greater degree than most others. This is the legend of all your base are belong to us. Now, before we begin, I need to explain the status of the internet at the time of All Your Base's inception, the environment that it arose from. At this point, around the turn of the millennium, memes were not exactly common. The internet itself was a good deal smaller, and the idea of a running joke or reference being shared was still relatively new. The term hadn't even been coined yet, as most of the phenomena were referred to as viral videos or fads. So, when a new meme rose to popularity, it rarely had much competition and was often more of a novelty than the memes of today. Thanks to the lack of video streaming and social media sites like YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, 4chan, and others, internet phenomena spread primarily through forums and websites created by users. Also of note, memes, along with everything else, spread a lot slower. Thanks in part to this slow spread, memes lasted a lot longer, and I mean a lot longer. Particularly enduring memes would circulate for years before beginning to fade. When compared to the memes of today, which I've seen rise and fall in a matter of days, the internet of the early 2000s was a completely different ballgame. Additionally, while All Your Base definitely wasn't the first meme, it was certainly the most well-known of its time. Also, I have to admit that All Your Base was actually before my time as well. The meme's heyday had come and gone before I even picked up a computer. Still, it was so long-lasting that I was able to learn of its existence and even see it in use during my early days on the internet. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. Our story technically begins before the internet even existed. In October of 1989, a game called Zero Wing was released for arcades in Japan. Developed by the now defunct Toplan, Zero Wing was your fairly standard side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, following the player as they piloted the Zig Starfighter. The player would fight their way through waves of enemies in order to defeat the alien, Cats. I legitimately don't know why his name is Cats, just ignore that for now. An important thing to mention is that this original arcade version of Zero Wing had no cutscenes. In July of 1992, Zero Wing was strangely ported to the Sega Mega Drive and translated to English for a European release. This decision to localize the game would set a great series of events into motion. You see, while the majority of the game was relatively unchanged, this localized version had a cutscene that had to be translated to English. This wouldn't have been a problem if Toplan had actually put some work into the translation. But of course they didn't. The entire cutscene translation seemed to have been done by one guy at Toplan who had taken a few community college courses in English. For whatever reason, the cutscene was a jumbled mess of words and grammar. What was supposed to be a dramatic and inspiring scene was instantly transformed into a comedy sketch. It was this cutscene, only a minute or so in length, that provided the source material for All Your Base. The cutscene plays out as follows. The scene fades in to a massive starship floating in space. The narration reads, in AD 2101, war was beginning. Suddenly, explosions and fire rip across the ship's bow. We cut to the ship's bridge, where officers are in a panic over the sudden assault. The captain asks, "What happened?" The mechanic responds, "Somebody set up us the bomb." The operator states that, "We get signal." The captain is shocked, saying, "What?" The operator replies, "Main screen, turn on." A strange, cloaked figure appears on the main screen. It is the alien, Katz. The captain is shocked, uttering, "It's you." Katz responds, "How are you, gentlemen?" He then utters the now infamous phrase, "All your base are belong to us." He then goes on to say, "You are on the way to destruction." The captain cannot handle this, shouting, "What you say?" Katz is unfazed, saying, "You have no chance to survive. Make your time." Ha 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 ha. The image of Katz slowly fades. The operator yells, "Captain." The captain, making a bold and dangerous decision, says, "Take off every zig. You know what you doing. Move zig for great justice." And the scene ends. Contrary to popular belief, the scene featured no text-to-speech dialogue. The conversation played out through subtitles. The scene had been created, but it saw almost no action for over half a decade. That was until 1998. In the middle of that year, the cutscene was posted, albeit in crappy 1998 GIF form, to the since-closed Rage Games site. Later that year, a second, slightly different version of the GIF was uploaded to the Zany Video Game Quotes site by user Saymont. At this point, the GIF began to slowly make its rounds on the web, but its popularity had not yet reached its full potential by a long shot. On June 5th of 2000, early webcomic Overclocked.org created a short, dubbed version of the cutscene, the file for which is 320 by 240 and had a size of 1 megabyte. This was the first known instance of humor based on the cutscene. On July 31st, the captain from All Your Base became a guru on thetruemeaningoflife.com, an early Q&A comedy site, where he would answer user-submitted questions. By mid-2000, All Your Base had spread to the Something Awful forums, popping up all over the site. People were posting the GIF everywhere. People had it in their signature. On September 6, 2000, a user posted a photo of Alf, which another user then edited to make it look as if Alf was saying, "All your base are belong to us." Honestly, it was a pretty crappy edit. It probably took like 30 seconds in MS Paint, but a trend had been set. All Your Base photo edits would become a staple of the phenomenon for years to come. In November of 2000, a Something Awful thread entitled "All You Are Base Are Belong to Us," complete with spelling error, was started, becoming one of, if not the largest thread on the subject, and users began rapidly photoshopping images to post. Between the various threads, the meme spread faster than ever. Throughout late 2000, forums all across the web began to link users back to the Something Awful thread and the meme itself. Merchandise was created. You could now buy an All Your Base shirt to prove how cool you were. Things were going quite well. And then the Something Awful thread was hacked. Only the first page of the thread was deleted, but this made it impossible to index and the thread essentially collapsed. But this didn't matter. Users had already assimilated the meme, and they continued to spread it on their respective forums. In November or December of 2000, Missouri DJ Jeffrey J. Roberts and his band, The Laziest Men on Mars, created the song "Invasion of the Gabber Robots," essentially a Gabber remix of the Zero Wing theme accompanied by text-to-speech readings of the Zero Wing opening scene. This extremely catchy song became the official theme of the All Your Base phenomenon. On December 16th of 2000, another thread was started on the Tribal War gaming forums by user BadCRC. Remember this guy, he'll be important soon. The Tribal War thread became one of the largest, and certainly the largest surviving, threads on All Your Base. Even more users created even more photoshops, adding to the growing pile of images. On February 15th of 2001, the defining piece of All Your Base media would be created. BadCRC, the guy I mentioned 20 seconds ago, created a flash video, which he later posted to Newgrounds the day afterwards. The video consisted of the Zero Wing opening scene, followed by a montage of the many photoshops, accompanied by Invasion of the Gabber Robots.
Your base, belong to us. All your base, base, base. All All your base belong to us. All your base.
Although simple and a little rough around the edges by today's standards, this was a quality piece of media in 2001 and struck a chord with the community, becoming the most instantly recognizable icon of All Your Base. In early 2001, allyourbase.belongtous.com went online, and although it was originally a typical confusing Web 2.0 site that had nothing to do with All Your Base, it later matured into an actual hub where visitors could view the Flash and examine its history, except for a short interval in 2003 where it was just a porn site. Now, by this point, the meme was everywhere, having spread across the internet and into real life like nothing before. Ars Technica, SolidSharky.com, Plastic, Evercrest, Salamando Stove, Game FAQs, Salon.com, countless websites were featuring and mentioning the phenomenon. All Your Base was appearing in webcomics, in news articles, in crappy Angel Fire and GeoCities websites made by fans. On February 20th, the San Francisco Times published a story on All Your Base, marking the meme's first appearance in print. The idea had begun to seep into mainstream consciousness, something quite uncommon at the time. All Your Base even began leaking into real life, with people placing the phrase anywhere they could. After first appearing spray-painted on the roof of Carnegie Mellon on February 21st, All Your Base was popping up on billboards, signs, and buildings all across the country. On February 26th, the phenomenon made national news, featuring in Time magazine. In just this short time, the meme had spread even further. The Register, Newsbites, Steve Jackson Games, Tech TV, Wired, KringleNet, GameSpy.com, The Guardian, NetSlaves, Detroit Free Press, the Lycos 50, even Neopets was featuring All Your Base-related content. March 3rd saw Invasion of the Gabber Robots played on a radio show. Throughout early to mid-2001, even corporations began to catch on, such as ID Software, VH1, and Lucasfilms. On March 11th of 2001, Fox News Chicago aired a segment on the meme, its first appearance on a major news network. The next day, All Your Base appeared in nationally syndicated comic strip Foxtrot, and its popularity only grew. All Your Base remained popular for a number of years, although it began to lose steam around 2006. Still, it remained known and at least semi-popular during the Rage comic era of 2009 to 2012, and it continues to live on in the consciousness of the internet even today. A beloved and classic internet phenomenon, a legend in its own right. Thanks for watching.